everyone. My name is Hannah Miller. I am a grad student here in the Family and Consumer Sciences Department, focusing on family services. I also did my undergrad here in family services and did the internship, and now I'm doing my internship again for grad school.
And I'm Brooke. I am a senior here, and my concentration is family services. And today we're just going to talk to you a little bit about our internship. Like Professor Hart said, we're doing it at the Coles County Jail here in town. And yeah, so we just talk with inmates that have children.
So basically, are any of you guys interested in working in the criminal justice system?
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. Cool. So I think you're going to be interacting with kids, families, individuals who have, an incarcerated parent. Maybe they have a kid in the juvenile system. I think wherever you go, no matter what career you're going to go into, you're going to interact with these individuals. So what our internship looks for is for individuals that are in the family services concentration. So you can be a grad student or an undergrad.
So what we do twice a week on Wednesdays and Thursdays from 6:30 till 8:30, we go to the jail and we have one-on-one video visitation with inmates that are a part of the Family Mentor Program. And so what that entails is they get a Parenting from Prison book, and it just talks about how you can be a parent while you're in prison, different stages. It talks a lot about Erickson, just ways that they can understand what their child is going through, even though they might not physically be there. And we just talk to them about some of the struggles that they're having with interacting with their children. We kind of give them tips on what their kids might be going through, suggestions for how they can connect better and communicate more effectively with their children.
So the duties include, before you start your internship, you have to do a background check. It's really simple. You just fill out this piece of paper, you turn it into the jail. You study and use the book Parenting from Prison. So you get a book that is going to give it to the inmates. You have it yourself, and that's something that you can follow along with the parents. You talk about things in the book. And then, like Brooke said, you have individual sessions with the inmates. So they're 25 minutes, and these are on television monitors. So they will start, and then right when the 25 minutes is up, it just goes blank. So you could be in the middle of talking to them, and it just goes black. We meet with 4 detainees, so this kind of changes. In the beginning, we were meeting with about 2 detainees a night. The past couple weeks, we've only been meeting with 1, so it kind of just depends who's in the jail and how full it is. And then, like she said, we meet on Wednesdays and Thursday evenings.
So conversations that we have with the inmates, like I said earlier, we really issues impacting parenting experiences, their experiences of having been parented. So a lot of our inmates come from really shaky backgrounds. They either did not have either parents in their lives, or they saw drugs go through their house. A lot of our inmates, they don't have parents anymore because a lot of them either died from a disease, or a few of them have parents that were murdered. And so we kind of relate that to how that affects them as a parent now. Their goals for parenting once they're done with prison, so what kind of parents they want to be when they can physically be around their child again. Strategies for communication with each of their children as appropriate. So a lot of them have they have a drug addiction, and so what we're kind of finding now is they want to talk to their children about their drug addiction. A lot of them that have middle school kids are I know they're going to figure this out eventually, but just trying to explain to them how they can do that, how far you can talk to them about it, what you can actually say to make it appropriate for their age level. And then we actually have to keep records of each detainee and each visit, so we'll take notes down during our visitation and after. Sometimes Hannah and I will meet with a detainee together, and other times we're by ourselves. And so we will discuss after, because a lot of times, on Wednesday, I might meet with Jared, and then the next Wednesday, she might meet with him. So we want to make sure we're on the same page, so we're not kind of backtracking ourselves with each visit.
So this is a picture. This was an intern, I believe, in the summer. So this is what it looks like. It's a pretty small room. You have the TV screen, and then there's 2 phones on each side. So sometimes we'll go in together and squeeze our chairs together, and it's kind of just like Skyping. There's a camera at the top, and you can see them.
and then everyone else that's in the pod that comes to see what's going on.
So other duties, so we research different areas, targeted information just around children, different stages they're going to, so we can give that information to the parents. We have debriefing meetings with Dr. Murphy, who is our site supervisor. She's an SCS professor here. I'm sure most of you guys know who she is. So we just debrief and talk about our weeks at the jail and what we talk about with the parents, and sometimes we may talk about things that upset us or things that we feel like we need to talk to her about. Determine the type of project to complete for the Family Life Education program. So for our internship project, we're going to be doing a documentary pretty much just about incarceration, families, people who are affected by family members that have been incarcerated. So that's something we're going to be working on throughout the semester. And then we're going to complete the project, and other duties just fulfilling your internship requirements and hours.
So one thing that we really encourage is for our inmates to write letters to their children. This is something that the child can keep on hand with them, because phone calls are really great, and we do encourage phone calls, but not everyone has the money to do that. Some of our inmates have absolutely no money in their accounts, and so this is a way that they can contact them, and then the child has something that they can actually physically have or read over and over again. And so we actually have example letters, and I think you might see one on the next slide, but it is a concrete reminder to show that the parents care about the child. Like I said, they can hold the envelope, see the parents writing, and getting mail is like a grown-up and exciting thing for the kids. And then some things to remember: the child needs to know that they are not forgotten about him or her. Knowing that the parent is safe is important to them, because a lot of them, they haven't seen their parents in at least 4 months, and that's if they were regularly seeing them when the parent was outside of jail. And encouragement is the best way to show a child that you care. So we, a lot of the times, encourage the inmates to just talk about the child, like, how are you doing, how's school, I'm so proud of you, make sure you're staying focused in school, because a lot of the times what we find out is that they're worried, the inmates are worried that because they're in the situation they're in, their kids are going to struggle in school, just because there's a lack of stability in their lives. And we like to remind them that don't let your situation steal from you and the things you can do. A lot of the times they think, I can't do anything. They feel limited by their situation. So this is just one way that they can make sure that they are still being a good parent to their children.
So this is a sample letter. We have an outline that we'll give to them if they're like, I don't know how to write a letter to my child, I don't really know what to say. We can give them the sample. So basically just telling them, they love them, they miss them, they're safe, telling them what they're doing, I ate dinner today, I watched some TV, asking about how their life is going, and, like I said, I'm sending a big hug and kiss, just sending them a lot of love within the letter. One thing we saw that was really, really neat is one of the inmates started a story, and he sent it to his child for them to finish the story, and then they will send the story back and forth. So that was really something we didn't even think of, for him to kind of communicate with this child.
A lot of them draw pictures too, so they try to keep it fun and not focused on their situation. So the history, so this is a multi-course program, and it was actually initiated by Sheriff Rankin, Lieutenant White, and Gary Steffen, and he's of the Wigman Ministries, and modeled from a program that the DuPage County has in their jail. And family life education and support is provided for individuals on the outside following release. So once the inmates are released, Hannah and I don't actually have contact with them just for safety reasons, but Gary Steffen from Wingman Ministries, he sets them up with jobs, rehabs, housing. He really is like their go-to man, and we always encourage them to make sure they talk with him before they get released, just because he's somewhere that they know like someone actually cares about them, because a lot of them get out and either their family won't talk to them anymore, which if you kind of don't have a good ground before you get out, a lot of them can just slip back in to their same routines of going and finding drugs, because they're like, well, there's no one here that cares about me or my success. So he's kind of the man to push them and be like, you need to care about your success, I'm going to help you, but I'm just going to kind of like guide you to where you need to go.
So just some information for any of you that are interested. So we have fall, spring, or summer sessions. You have to be available from 6 to 9 p.m. every Wednesday and Thursday, and other just hours that you can be arranged with Dr. Murphy to complete it. It's in the Coles County Jail, which is just on 7th Street by the town square. So it's not too far from campus. And
So this is the paperwork that you have to fill out. For working in a jail, we thought we'd have to fill out a lot more paperwork, but this is it. You just have to say that you haven't been convicted of a felony and you don't have any problems with drugs or alcohol, and that's it. So really our interview process wasn't even with the jail. We've just met the correctional officers that let us into the jail, because we can't just obviously walk right in. But when we interviewed, it was just with Dr. Murphy, and then we filled this paperwork out and took it to the jail.
so we pulled this just from the Coles County jail page. So these are their ethics. So respect, compassion, integrity, efficiency, and leadership. This is just something that we try to follow, that they follow, and we wanted to have while we're in our internship.
And does anyone have any questions? Yeah.
And this is actually,
Oh,
This is
yeah.
actually a picture from, so these are the booths. There's 4 different booths when you walk in. They'll usually assign us either together or, I'll be in the first one, she'll be in the second one, and they're pretty much just these small little rooms that we're in. So.
Yeah, so that only gives us 3 hours or 6 hours a week for our internship, but if you have 120 hours that you need to complete, then that obviously means 2 hours a week you're getting it from somewhere else. So a lot of the times Hannah and I will meet up to work on our ELA project together, also reading the Parenting for Prison book, doing extra research. I meet with 2 children every other week that their mother is in and out of jail, and just kind of talk with them. So I'm learning about how the children feel, as well as talking with inmates that have children. So yeah, it's a little flexible from where you can get your other hours. So that's just how it is. We have a spiritual group that comes to, and they only get 25 minutes, which sometimes it goes by really fast, and other times you're like, okay, what? Because some people come there and they don't really want to talk to you. They're there, but they're nervous because they don't want to be judged. And a lot of these men, we've talked to predominantly men. We've talked to one woman, but they're like, we're the only people they talk to outside of their pod that they live in, because they don't have anyone come and visit. They don't have money to call home. So sometimes I think it's just nice for them to be like, okay, this is someone that's not, telling me what to do, someone that's not judging me, and just someone that respects me and wants to help me. So it's really rewarding experience. You don't actually come in contact with the inmates. I know that was my parents' big thing. They're like, you're gonna work in a jail? You're gonna be around murderers? None of the people we've talked to are murderers either. That's another thing. They're not murderers, well, at least the ones we've encountered. But you can tell your parents you're basically it's basically like Skype or FaceTime.
We haven't talked to anyone who's had their children visit them.
Yeah, a lot of them, it's, at least from what we've gained with I think we've talked about 10 different people, but a lot of them don't really want their kids there, just because a lot of them know that they're not going to go to prison. Many of them are like, no, I'll be able to get off on probation. So they're like, I don't want my kids to see this. I don't want them to experience this. But the people that are like that are also very adamant about making sure that they call home a lot. One man calls his 2 daughters, I would say 3 times a week, and the nights he doesn't talk to them, on the phone he writes them letters or draws them pictures, and they send stuff back and forth. So, yeah, it's definitely, I don't know, very rewarding, and you kind of look at your life a little differently, and so.